Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Please subscribe. Hit the like button, subscribe. Consider becoming a member to the channel. But subscribe for sure if you enjoy good conversation, drama-free, and a whole lot of entertainment. Now, what the Bad Bunny halftime fallout tells us about the world and the United States is a lot of different things. I first want to say, look, people got the right to say what they want. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression. So you may not agree, but hey, everyone has a right to feel how they want, to say what they want, just like yourself, okay? But the reaction to Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl halftime show reveals far more about society than it does about music. What should have been a celebration of one of the world's biggest artists, who people were very, very fortunate to have perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, quickly turned into a cultural argument about identity, belonging, and who gets to represent America. This shows that the United States is still struggling with the idea that American culture is not fixed, it's evolving. And it's going to keep evolving. Sports, especially football, sit at the center of that struggle because they are viewed as traditional and symbolic of national identity. When something new or unfamiliar appears on that stage, it forces people to confront whether their idea of America includes everyone or only those who look and sound a certain way. I do know a lot of people are like, hey, we should have had rock music, should have been pop, anything other than Bad Bunny. And I don't agree with that. But you have to respect people's opinions, right? But one thing for sure, sports has always been one of the most inclusive spaces in the world. So why wouldn't you be that way when it comes to the damn halftime show? On any football field, basketball court, or boxing ring, y'all know I love boxing, you will find athletes of different races, nationalities, religions, and backgrounds competing under the same rules. That is the essence of sport. Merit, not origin, determines success. Because the halftime show is part of that sporting event. It logically should reflect the same diversity. If the players on the field represent many cultures, then the entertainment at halftime representing many cultures should not be controversial. What's the problem? The backlash shows that while sports themselves are inclusive, parts of the audience are still uncomfortable when that inclusivity is made visible on a massive stage. The anger toward Bad Bunny, Benito, matter of fact, shout out Benito, man, also exposes how deeply language and culture are tied to acceptance in America. Some critics did not focus on talent or opportunity, but on the fact that he performs primarily in Spanish. He was asked to perform in English. He said no. Performing in Spanish, the language his mother taught him. That reaction suggests that, for some, speaking English is still seen as a requirement for being considered truly American. Look, this is not a music debate. It is a cultural boundary being defended. Yet Spanish is spoken by tens of millions of Americans, and Latino culture is deeply embedded in U.S. society. The resistance to that reflects... Look, the resistance to that, I think, is a reality that reflects fear of change more than any genuine issue with music. That shit had nothing to do with music. I don't know what people are scared of. Go ahead and get you some Arroz con Pollo. You'll be singing them Bad Bunny songs. VIP, VIP. Put some of that Saison and shit. Con achiote, that adobo is seasoned all up in your ass. You'll be singing them goddamn songs. But I'm going to say this thing about change. Change can't be stopped. You're not stopping change, man. Culture moves forward, whether people approve of it or not. Every generation brings new sounds, new faces, and new stories to the forefront. The Super Bowl halftime show has always evolved. And next year, you may get K-pop. We were joking about this shit last night, and I joked about it in the video earlier. Y'all may see a bunch of Koreans on there. You can get them superstars out of China and Japan. You may get an all-Asian invasion next year on that stage. What you gonna do then? You know what I'm saying? What's gonna happen then? It could happen, man. That halftime show is going to keep evolving. I'm telling you, man. From marching bands to pop stars to hip hop icons, Bad Bunny's inclusion is simply another step in that evolution, all right? Resisting it does not preserve tradition. It freezes it in time. Appreciating inclusion instead of fighting it allows sports and entertainment to remain relevant to younger audiences who already live in a multicultural world. Shit's changing. I'm telling you, this shit about you're not going to keep it the way it was, man, years and years ago. And those who are fighting for that, they're going to die off. Right? We all going to die sometime. They're going to die off. They're going to kick the bucket in all them fucked up ways. Let them take it with them. But we shouldn't try to keep that bullshit alive. This shit about race. Listen, I don't talk race. I don't talk religion. I don't talk politics. I don't talk sexual orientation. I don't talk about those things because it leads to huge problems and arguments. I'll just say race plays a complicated role in this backlash. Some criticism may be rooted in taste, but much of the outrage reveals discomfort with seeing a non-white, non-English speaking artist symbolize the biggest American sporting event. That's all it is, people. We all adults here. And remember, I'm not saying no one's right or wrong. I'm just calling it for what it fucking is. That discomfort echoes older patterns where people of color were allowed to participate in society but not represented. That's what they want. He can participate, but he ain't going to represent it. Love and hate both become amplified on platforms like social media where strong reactions travel faster than thoughtful ones. Bad Bunny's performance-breaking record shows that despite the noise, millions of people embraced it. He's a global phenomenon. Of course that was going to happen. The success itself contradicts the idea that he did not belong on that stage. He belonged on that stage. Okay? And the NFL knew what they were doing. They're thinking big time, big picture. They ain't worried about these small-minded fuckers out here who don't want anybody to have nothing, to experience nothing, that they want to still live with that small-town mentality. They ain't got time for that shit. So the chatter around this performance also tells us something important about how sports are being used as cultural battlegrounds. Sports used to be seen as an escape from politics and social tension. Now they often become the place where those tensions surface. And I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong. I'm just telling you it's an observation I'm making. All the way back to Kaepernick taking a knee. Listen, people can react to shit how they want. I'm just pointing shit out that we should be escaping from politics and social tension, but we're not. If hostile reactions to inclusion are tolerated or encouraged, sports risk becoming spaces of division rather than unity. You're going to see it in the team chemistry. You know what I'm saying? That shit will be dangerous. Because one of the few remain shared experience in society and watching games together. A lot of us watch games together with fans together. People don't see race, religion. They don't see nothing when they come to sports. If you come in there rocking the same jersey, people out there, man, supporting each other, high-fiving, hugging, buying each other beers and hot dogs and all that shit. But when you turn those moments into culture wars, it weakens one of the last bridges between different groups of people, which I just think is sad. So this raises the question, is football really America's sport? In terms of popularity and tradition, maybe, yeah. But America itself is no longer defined by one race, one language, or one culture. If football truly represents America, then it must reflect what America actually looks like today. Diverse, global, constantly changing. A halftime show that includes Latino culture does not take away anything from football. It expands it. Simple. What football represents. It expands it. Calling football America's sport while rejecting America's diversity is a contradiction. Love all, hate none, and we'll be okay, folks. Looking forward, the reaction to Bad Bunny could influence how leagues and broadcasters approach representation. If they give in to backlash, it may discourage future choices that reflect the full spectrum of American culture. If they stand firm, and like Sizzler, you can't keep a good man down. Always wear a smile when they want me to frown. Y'all need to check out Sizzler, dancehall artists. But if they stand firm, it signals that inclusion is not optional but expected. Sports have the power to normalize difference, to make it feel ordinary instead of threatening. The way this situation is handled will show whether sports will lead cultural progress or retreat from it. And I think all sports needs to show cultural progress, man. I'm a boxing junkie. Don't really follow the other sports. But when it comes to people not showing love and showing hate, that gets my interest because I like those kind of talking points because it's interesting to me to watch people and perspectives and opinions and to try to understand why they feel so passionate about things, especially a non-white, non-English speaking person representing the Super Bowl halftime show. It's very interesting. But we need to lead and continue to foster and cultivate cultural progress, not retreat from it. But ultimately, this controversy is not really about Bad Bunny, in my opinion. It's about whether people are willing to accept that America is plural, not singular, plural, more than one. Love and hate are both part of that transition. Some people see inclusion as a loss. Others see it as growth. History shows that growth always wins eventually. The noise fades and the new normal takes its place. What remains is the lesson. Division weakens shared spaces, while inclusion strengthens them. If sports are meant to unite, especially football, baseball, tennis, soccer, golf, boxing, whatever, man, you playing high alive, whatever the fuck you doing. If sports are meant to unite, then the halftime show should reflect that unity. It should say, this stage belongs to everyone who contributes to this country's culture. And that's a whole lot of people, a whole lot of different cultures, a whole lot of immigrants. There's a whole lot of diversity there. What are you doing when you try to ostracize people to make sure that they can't get on that stage because you don't want people to feel like anyone other than a certain group is contributing to the country's culture? That's misrepresentation. That's bullshit. That's what I call, hey, yo, hold your horses. Stop taking it to the stupid. That doesn't erase tradition, people. It honors it by allowing it to evolve. Bad Bunny's performance did more than entertain. It forced the nation to have a national conversation about who gets to be seen, who gets to be heard, and what America chooses to celebrate about itself. So Bad Bunny's halftime show, it exposed a much bigger problem, man. And people are going to debate. Is football still America's sport? Is it not? Is America really divided? What's the future of sports culture? I'll just tell you this. Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl halftime show sparked massive debate across the country. Some say it's about music and tradition. Others say it reflects deeper issues about race, culture, and who gets to represent America. Anyway, for me, I just wanted to discuss what the backlash really says about the United States, why sports are naturally inclusive of race and nationality, why the halftime show should reflect that, and how fear of change drives division, and what this could mean for the future of sports, and whether football can still be called America's sport. I mean, it's an interesting talking point. The bottom line is, about to sneeze. Excuse me. All this controversy, the real question, is it really about Bad Bunny or about how America sees itself? That's what I want to know. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans on 7 continents. Love all and hate none to be in a much better space. In the breeze.